Like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, and on with the video. SHTF Garden coming back with you with some more current events. Looking at potato production in the United States, 2021's numbers by state. Looks like Idaho is by far and above the biggest producer. We also got a couple other big producers here like Washington. Well, let's see what's going on. Wait a minute, potato shortage in Idaho? Well, how could that possibly be? How are we having potato shortage in Idaho? What's the problem? The weather? Okay, not this year's weather. It was last year's weather. So right now we're living off of the potato harvest from 2021. That's coming to a close, and right now we're moving into 2022's harvest. It's coming just now, the beginning of the potatoes coming into the pipeline. But the consumers are facing shortage from last year's crop, which means, what do you think it's going to look like this time next year or sooner? Just less potatoes being shipped right now than there's normally this time of the year because of the shorter supply that we started with the season with. Now that was before we've had a lot of these fertilizer price increases. That was before major droughts and floods and things like that. So a little bit of focus on potatoes right now. The percent of potatoes in the American diet, at least, has been declining for a few years, but still, makes up a lot of your calories. Although I have a feeling it's going to reverse that trend and start going back up as you look at the cost of other stuff. All right, so here we go. Here's some of the reasons we're having issues with this. So Idaho farmers planted 25,000 fewer potato acres this year, 8% decrease compared with 2021. Now bear in mind, we're having the beginnings of a shortage right now because there was not enough planted or not enough harvest for 2021. Now we're 8% less than that, which means next year is going to be even worse. So it's not looking like we're rounding the corner to make things better anytime soon. So Idaho farmers planted an estimated 290,000 acres of potatoes in 2022, down from 315,000 acres in 2021, according to the USDA National Agriculture Statistics Service. People expected it to be down, they were saying. They expected spud acres in Idaho to be down this year, but 25,000 acre decrease came as a surprise. Surprised everybody. Okay, it's a huge drop, according to them with North American Potato Market News. It's especially true considering the farm level prices for spuds were strong heading into the growing season. So you could have made some money, they were saying, but still people did not plant, and maybe because they're not able to make enough because of the fertilizer cost. So what we need to be doing is canning those potatoes, preserving them, can, dehydrate, preserve, some kind of way. All right, let's go look at some other stuff. So potatoes are going up in price. Potatoes are getting hard to come by here. Let's look at some of the other things. So here's our market outlook. U.S. feed grain supplies decline, a lower production. U.S. corn production is reduced 415 million bushels this month on a 2.9 bushel per acre yield drop. So that's 1 million acre reduction of harvested area. Corn production is forecast to total 13,944 million bushels in 2022-2023. So the corn crop has gone down some. So they have all these rosy predictions out there about how everything was going to be great. But then now that it's towards the end of the season and they're actually going to be going out there and surveying these fields and looking to see what's actually out there. Now you got to say, okay, well, there's droughts, there was these weather problems, there was storms, there was whatever was happening, whatever area they were in. So now we're looking at less than what they said it was going to be. Is anybody really surprised by that? In the European Union, global corn trade is projected at 1.5 million tons lower for 2022-2023 international trade. 2 million ton drop in the U.S. exports. That's not good. So especially for other countries that are relying on that corn. Vietnam's imports by 0.5 million tons. The lower corn exports assumed reduced shipments to Canada, while slower shipment pace has reduced Vietnam's imports. So those two countries is affected right there. And Ukraine's only a small part of the increase in Ukraine corn outputs be exported because of the great uncertainty surrounding developments that affect its ability to export grain. Of course, there's some kind of war going on, and we don't really want to talk about that because the last time I did, they started reducing the reach of the video. But it has to be talked about. Just hopefully people will share the video and beat the censorship. So looking at the USDA here, the other big crop looking at as far as calories is your wheat. So you got your wheat, you got your corn, you got your potatoes. There's three major areas where calories are coming from. So U.S. farmers are expected to produce 1.17 billion bushels of winter wheat this year, according to Sea Crop Production Report. And let's go on down. Production is expected to decrease 8% from 2021. So just like potatoes, we're talking about a decrease of 8%, as well as what the current estimate is. That could obviously change, hopefully for the better, but I wouldn't bet the farm on it, so to speak. Expected average 47.9 bushels per acre, down 2.3 bushels from last year's average of 50.2 bushels per acre. So it seems about in line with the corn. So it's also losing about the same amount of bushels per acre. So hard winter production is forecast to be at 590 million bushels, down to 21% from a year ago. 21%. So the big thing I want to be able to get people to think about whenever I'm going over these numbers is this is kind of a prediction of what the future is going to be like. We know prices are high now. We know prices are higher than they have been in a while in many cases. But prices are either going to somewhat stabilize or maybe even come down a little bit for a small window as new crops come in. At least that's the hope. So that it's an opportunity here for people to be able to put aside some potatoes or potato products, whether you're canning it. Of course, potatoes last for a while, but they won't last forever. Whether you're getting some flour in 5-gallon buckets, Mylar bags, cornmeal, that type of stuff. So the idea is this is a predictive of what's going to be coming forward. Okay, so boom. Maybe we can get some exports from France, Netherlands, China, somewhere else to be able to try and help make up for some of the potato shortages. Kind of going heavy on potatoes in this video. But French potato crisis, call for emergency plan to safeguard French potato production. Let's see, French potato production, they're the #1 exporter. So faced with historic drop in potato yields predicted for 2022 harvest in France, the UNPT union was received on September 2nd by the French Ministry for Agriculture and Food Sovereignty. Here are the main requests by the producers to the French government. They're talking about 2022 potato harvest already predicted to be catastrophic in France, at least 20% lower. You're talking some serious lack of production, 1.5 million tons less than the average of the last 20 years. And losses reaching 50% for non-irrigated plots. They were hit with a lot of drought. That is massive. That is catastrophic. The prices are going to be insane in a short period of time. Once people don't realize that this is happening right now. So you go into the grocery store, 8% inflation, which we all know is a lot higher than that. But regardless, people are still eating, still have food on the store shelves. Wait till these impacts start hitting your grocery store shelves. So I want to get this word out there so that people know to go out and buy some of this stuff. And you got some extra money, get some potatoes, get some corn, get rice, get beans, get whatever you can get. Get canned goods, get whatever you can get. Anyways, I thank the minister for responsiveness and constructive approach to standby potato producers who will probably lose more than 250 million euros, 248 million US dollars for this campaign. All right, so it's an emergency measure to maintain potato plots for 2023 by setting up a state guaranteed loans. So you get state guaranteed loans to consolidate producers' weakened treasuries. So they're going broke. They are losing everything. All right, so what about some of the other stuff in the Eurozone? Okay, you got severely limited potato production in Belgium, Netherlands, which Netherlands is #2 in that chart. France, which was #1. Germany, I think, was 3 or 4, despite increased acreage. So they planted more, got less. So let's hit some of these numbers. Total production in the NEPG zone, that's Euro 04, Belgium, Netherlands, France, and Germany will decline by 7 to 11%, which might be rosy considering they were just talking about 20% in France, and that's the biggest producer over there. Potato production may range from 20 to 21 million tons with an acre increase of 3.2% from the previous year. Okay, so they increased the land, try and get a little bit more production out, which was a good idea, but the weather did not cooperate, so now they are in bad shape. So look at some of these numbers. Let's look at some of these prices too. So here is the current prices. So we're kind of flat right now with potatoes. So this is a 1 year chart right here for potatoes. And you see they were a lot higher. They came down. Now they're kind of flat. So now is a good time in here soon to be purchasing things that you can put away. Potatoes won't last forever in the fridge or on the just sitting there in a bag on the floor or in the pantry. You're going to have to do something with them. You're going to have to can them or do something else with them. They will last for a while though, so definitely have some. But it's something that you're going to have to preserve. And they can be frozen, they can be canned, dehydrated. There's a few different ways to store them. We can maybe do some videos on some of those. But for the moment, just want to make sure people realize that now is the time to buy. Look at some corn. Corn prices have also come down from their height in the summer. Now, of course, this is a 1 year chart as well, so it looks deceptively lower. But whenever you come out and you look at the all-time chart, corn prices are way up there. You notice the only other spike you had like this kind of prices was 2008 market crash. So that may be a correlation or comparison what we are looking at getting here. So wheat prices are also down right now, so with comparison to what they were in the summer. So, and of course there's the all-time wheat. So we're way up there for wheat also here again. Looking at market crash last time, the prices were this high. So those things right now, and they're deceptively low, but what do you think is going to happen to this number here? Especially once people begin to realize when the prices are going up because the input costs are up, the droughts have damaged the crops, the expected return from the fields is not where it's supposed to be right now. So these prices are going to go back up. This is going to make this top right here look like it's a bargain price. So people need to be ready for that. They need to be prepared for that. They need to be buying, preparing, storing food, because food is going to be the currency of the future. So put away that bread, put away the things to make the bread, the corn, the wheat, flour. Of course, that's what you're going to get from the wheat. You're not going to go buy wheat berries. You're going to buy flour. And I would also suggest some self-rising flour too, because you don't know how available it's going to be to get yeast. The cornmeal, the canned corn. Another thing I like to be able to get out there for people to think about is buy your seeds early. The more this kind of stuff goes on, the more people's going to want to garden. And potatoes are the number one calorie crop for a backyard garden. You get the most calories per space, easy to grow, as long as you don't have a major drought like you had this last year. If you do, you'll have to increase the watering. But I've grown rice in a kiddie pool and things like that. You just don't get enough of it. It was a fun novelty, but now this is not fun. Now this is the SHTF is coming in, and this is happening. And so, hey, keep that in mind. It's never too early to be able to pick up seeds. It's probably a little early for seed potatoes, but if you can get your hands on some, I would probably just get them and put them in a dark, cool place and let them go crazy. As long as they're still not rotten, they'll still be plantable in the spring. Even if they got some big, long tendrils hanging off of them. I know I planted some this last year. You can find the video for it. But anyways, I digress. Like, share, subscribe, get the word out so people can buy the stuff now while the prices are as low as they're going to be. I mean, maybe they'll get a little bit lower whenever the new 2022 crops hit the market. There might be a slight reprieve, but it's going to be short-lived. So make sure you're preparing. Make sure you're buying food. Make sure you let other people know. Share, subscribe, like. Thanks. Have a good day. SHTF Garden out.